So it's 7:45. Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome to today's chat session. I trust that you're all well. Today we continue with our reading and discussion of chapter 3 of Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1. And we have the honor and privilege of Shailaja Mataji reciting the Sanskrit, and is it Uma Mataji doing the English?
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So I'll put the verse on my screen, and when you're ready, Shailaja Mataji, you can say the invocation and then start. Okay, where's my glasses? Krishna, 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 Krishna. Here we go. You're on mute at the moment, Shailaja Mataji. You're on mute.
Sorry, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Dandot pranams. My Dandot pranams to all the dear devotees. Just wondering, is it the chapter 5 or the chapter 3? Sorry, a bit confused.
Oh, sorry, chapter 5. It's my error.
It's all right.
Let me correct that. Okay, I think we're ready.
Thank you. Again, Dandot pranams. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. For the pleasure of the Supreme Lord and our Divine Gurudev Srila Prabhupada and the pleasure of all the devotees, trying to recite a couple of verses from Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 5, first canto, chapter 5, verse 1 to verse 20. Text 1. Sutta Uvacha Atatam Sukhamasina Upasinam Bruhatshava Devarshi Praha Viprarshim Vina Panismayanniva.
Sutta Goswami said, thus the sage amongst the gods, Narada, comfortably seated and apparently smiling, addressed the Rishi amongst the Brahmanas, Vedavyasa.
Verse 2. Narada Uvacha Parasharya Mahabhaga Bhavatah Kachidatmana Paritushyati Sharira Atma Manasa Eva Va.
Addressing Vyasadeva, the son of Parashara, Narada inquired, are you satisfied by identifying with the body or the mind as objects of self-realization?
Verse 3. Jignasitam susampannam apite mahadadbhutam kritavan bharatam yastvam sarvartha paribrahmitam.
Your inquiries were full and your studies were also well fulfilled, and there is no doubt that you have prepared a great and wonderful work, the Mahabharata, which is full of all kinds of Vedic sequences elaborately explained.
Verse 4. Jignasitam cha brahma yattat sanatanam tathapi shochasyatmanam kritartha eva prabho.
You have fully delineated the subject of impersonal Brahman as well as the knowledge derived from their form. Why should you be despondent in spite of all this, thinking that you are undone, my dear Prabhu?
Verse 5. Astiva me sarvamidam tvayoktam tathapi natma paritushyate me tanmulam avyaktam pritchamahetvatma bhavatma bhutam.
Sri Vyasadeva said, all you have said about me is perfectly correct. despite all this, I'm not pacified. I therefore question you about the root cause of my dissatisfaction, for you are a man of unlimited knowledge due to your being the offspring of one Brahma, who is self-born without mundane father and mother.
Verse 6. Sa vai bhavan veda samastaguhyam upasito yat purushah purana paravaresho manasaiva vishvam srujatyavathyati gunairasangaha.
My Lord, everything that is mysterious is known to you because you worship the Creator and the Destroyer of the material world and the maintainer of the spiritual world, the original personality of Godhead, who is transcendental to the three modes of material nature.
Verse 7. Tvam paryatannarka iva triloki mantascharo vayurivatma sakshi paravare brahmani dharmato vratai snatasya menyulamalam vichakshya.
Like the sun, your goodness can travel everywhere in the free worlds, and like the air, you can penetrate the internal region of everyone. As such, you are as good as all-pervasive supersoul. Please, therefore, find out the deficiency in me, despite my being absorbed in transcendence under disciplinary regulation and vows.
Verse 8. Shri Narada Uvacha Bhavatanuditaprayam Yesho Bhagavato Malam Yenaivaso Natushyeta Manye Taddarshanam Khilam.
Sri Narada said, you have not actually broadcast the sublime and spotless glories of the personality of Godhead. That philosophy which does not satisfy the transcendental senses of the Lord is considered worthless.
Verse 9. Yatha dharmadayaschartha munivaryanukirtita na tatha vasudevasya mahimahyanuvarnitaha.
Although great sage, you have very broadly described the four principles beginning with religious performances. You have not described the glories of the Supreme Personality Vasudeva.
Verse 10. Nayadvachaschitra-padam hariryasho jagat pavitram pragrunita karhichit tadvayasam tirthamushangti manasa nayatra hamsa niramantyu shikshaya.
Those words which do not describe the glories of the Lord, who alone can sanctify the atmosphere of the whole universe, are considered by saintly persons to be like unto a place of pilgrimage for crows. Since the all-perfect persons are inhabitants of the transcendental abode, they do not derive any pleasure there.
Verse 11. Tadvagvisargo jagataghviplavo yasmin pratishlokamabadhavatyapi namanyanam tasya yashokitani shrunvanti gayanti grinanti sadhavaha.
On the other hand, that literature which is full of descriptions of the transcendental glories of the name, fame, forms, pastimes, etc., of the unlimited Supreme Lord is a different creation, full of transcendental words directed towards bringing about a revolution in the impious lives of this world's misdirected civilization. Such transcendental literatures, even though imperfectly composed, are heard, sung, and accepted by purified men who are thoroughly honest.
Verse 12. Naishkarmyamapyachutabhavavarjitam nashobhate jnanamalam niranjanam kutah punah pachashvadabhadramishvare charpitam karma yadapyakaranam.
Knowledge of self-realization, even though free from all material affinity, does not look well if devoid of a conception of the infallible God. What then is the use of fruitive activities which are naturally painful from the very beginning and are transient by nature if they are not utilized for the devotional service of the Lord?
Verse 13. Atho mahabhaga bhavana mohadruk shruchi shravasatyaratho drutavratah urukramasyakhila bandhamuktaye samadhinano dvicheshtitam.
O Vyasadeva, your vision is completely perfect. Your good fame is spotless. You are firm in your vow and situated in truthfulness. And thus you can think of the pastimes of the Lord in trance for the liberation of the people who general from all material bondage.
Verse 14. तथोऽन्यथा किञ्चन यद्विवक्षता पृथक् दृशस्कृत्कृतरूपनामभिः न कर्हिचित् क्वापि च दुःस्थिता मतिर्लभेत वाताहतनौरिवास्पदम्.
Whatever you desire to describe that is separate in vision from the Lord simply reacts with different forms, names, and results to agitate the mind as a wind agitates a boat which has no resting place.
Verse 15. Jugupsitharmakritenu स्वभावरक्तस्य महान् व्यतिक्रमः यद्वाक्यतो धर्म इतीतरस्थितो न मन्यते तस्य निवारणं जनः.
The people in general are naturally inclined to enjoy, and you have encouraged them in that way in the name of religion. This is verily condemned and is quite unreasonable. Because they are guided under your instructions, they will accept such activities in the name of religion and will hardly care for prohibitions.
Verse 16. Vichakshano syarhati veditam vibhor anantaparasya nivruttita sukham pravartamanasya gunairanatmana stato bhavan darshaya cheshtitam vibho.
The Supreme Lord is unlimited. Only a very expert personality retired from the activities of material happiness deserves to understand this knowledge of his spiritual values. Therefore, those who are not so well situated due to material attachment should be shown the ways of transcendental realization by your goodness, though description of the transcendental activities of the Supreme Lord.
Verse 17. Yaktva swadharmam charanambujaharir bhajanna pakvothapate tato yadi yatra kva bhadrama ko vartha apto bhajatam swadharmataha.
One who has forsaken his material occupations to engage in the devotional service of the Lord may sometimes fall down while in an immature stage, yet there is no danger of his being unsuccessful. On the other hand, a non-devotee, though fully engaged in occupational duties, does not gain anything.
Verse 18. तस्यैव हेतोः प्रयतेत कोविदो न लभ्यते यद्भ्रमतामुपुर्यदः तल्लभ्यते दुःखवदन्यत सुखं कालेन सर्वत्र गभीररंहसा.
Persons who are actually intelligent and philosophically inclined should endeavor only for that purposeful and which is not obtainable even by wandering from the topmost planet, Brahmaloka, down to the lowest planet, Patala. As far as happiness derived from sense enjoyment is concerned, it can be obtained automatically in course of time, just as in course of time we obtain miseries from though we do not desire them.
Verse 19. Na vai jano jatu katham cha navrajin mukunda sevyanya vadanga samsmritim smaran mukunda kripaguhanam punar vihatumiche narasagraho janaha.
My dear Vyasa, even though a devotee of Lord Krishna sometimes fall down somehow or other, he certainly does not undergo material existence like others, fruitive workers, etc. Because a person who has once relished the taste of the lotus feet of the Lord can do nothing but remember that ecstasy again and again.
Verse 20. Idam hi vishvam bhagavani vetaro yato jagatsthana nirodha sambhava tathi swayam veda bhavams tathapi te pradeshamatram bhavatah pradarshitam.
The Supreme Lord Personality of Godhead is himself his cosmos, and still he is aloof from it. From him only has this cosmic manifestation emanated. In him it rests, and unto him it enters after annihilation. Your good self knows all about this. I have given only a synopsis.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Shailaja Mataji. Very nice recitation. And thank you, Uma Mataji. It's also very nice how you recited.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for giving me the opportunity.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So today we'll continue chapter 5, Narada's instructions on Srimad Bhagavatam for Vyasadeva. Today we'll be reading and discussing text number 15. It's quite a long purport. Maybe I'll ask some of you all to read some of the paragraphs. But before we start, let us recite the Mangala Charanam praise together. You can also join in via unmuted mics. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmalitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yata Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gourange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sutidevi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivashadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Namahom Vishnupadaya, Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale, Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve, Gaura Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschacha Deshatharine. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jugupsitam Dharma Krite Nushashastaha Swabhavaraktasya Mahan Vyatikramaha Yad Vakyato Dharma iti tarostito Namanyate tasya nivaranam janaha. Word for word synonyms. Jugupsitam, verily condemned. Anushashataha, instruction. Swabhava raktasya, naturally inclined. Mahan, great. Vyatikramaha, unreasonable. Yat vakyata, under whose instruction. Dharma, religion. Iti, it is thus. Itaraha, the people in general. Stita, fixed. Na, do not. Manyate, think. Tasya, of that. Nivaranam, prohibition. Jana, they. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The people in general are naturally inclined to enjoy. And you have encouraged them in that way in the name of religion. This is verily condemned and is quite unreasonable. Because you are guided, because they are guided under your instructions, they will accept such activities in the name of religion and will hardly care for prohibitions. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. It's a long first paragraph. Would anyone like to read?
I can read, Prabhuji.
Yes, go on, please, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Srila Vyasadev's compilation of different Vedic literature on the basis of regulated performances of fruitive activities as depicted in the Mahabharata and other literature is condemned herewith by Srila Narada. The human beings, by long material association, life after life, have a natural inclination by practice to endeavor to load it over material energy. They have no sense of the responsibility of human life. This human form of life is a chance to get out of the clutches of illusory matter. The Vedas are meant for going back to Godhead, going back home, to revolve in the cycle of transmigration in a series of lives numbering 84,000, I think it's 8,400,000 is an imprisoned life for the condemned conditioned souls. The human form of life is a chance to get out of the imprisoned life, and as such, the only occupation of the human being is to re-establish his lost relationship with God. Under the circumstances, one should never be encouraged in making a plan for sense enjoyment in the name of religion functions. Such diversion of the human energy results in a general will not agree to renounce material activities which hold them in material bondage. At a certain stage of human civilization, when such material activities in the name of religion, as sacrificing animals in the name of yajna, were too much rampant, the Lord incarnated himself as Buddha and decried the authority of the Vedas in order to stop animal sacrifice in the name of religion. This was foreseen by Narada, and therefore, this was foreseen by Narada, and therefore he condemned such literatures. The flesh eaters will continue to perform animal sacrifice before some demigods or goddess in the name of religion, because in some of the Vedic literature, such regulated sacrifices are recommended. They are so recommended to discourage flesh eating, but gradually the purpose of such religion activities is forgotten, and the slaughterhouse becomes prominent. This is because foolish materialistic men do not care to listen to others who are actually in position to explain the Vedic rites.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Anyone likes to read the next paragraph, which is quite short?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, I'll read.
Yes, Mataji, please do.
Okay, Hare Krishna. In the histories like Mahabharata,
No, it's in the Vedas, the top one.
in the Vedas, it is distinctly said that the perfection of life is never to be attained either by voluminous work or by accumulation of wealth or even by increasing the population, but it is so attained only by renunciation. The materialistic men do not care to listen to such injunctions. According to them, the so-called renounced order of life is meant for those who are unable to earn their livelihood because of some corporal defects, or for persons who have failed to achieve prosperity in family life.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Krishna. Anyone likes to read the next paragraph in the histories like the Mahabharata?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Please,
Can I read, please?
Salati Prabhu.
In histories like the Mahabharata, of course, there are topics on transcendental subjects along with the material topics. The Bhagavad Gita is there in Mahabharata. The whole idea of Mahabharata culminates in the ultimate instructions of Bhagavad Gita that one should relinquish all other engagements and should engage oneself solely and fully in surrendering unto the lotus feet of Lord Sri Krishna. But men with materialistic tendencies are more attracted to the politics, economics, and philanthropic activities mentioned in the Mahabharata than to the principal topic, namely the Bhagavad Gita. This compromising spirit of Vyasadeva is directly condemned by Narada, who advised him to directly proclaim that the prime necessity of human life is to realize one's eternal relationship with the Lord and thus surrender unto him without delay.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. And anyone likes to read the last paragraph?
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, Anil, go ahead.
A patient suffering from a particular type of malady is almost always inclined to accept eatables which are forbidden for him. The expert physician does not make any compromise with the patient by allowing him to take partially what he should not at all take. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is also said that a man attached to fruitive work should not be discouraged from his occupation, for gradually he may be elevated to the position of self-realization. This is sometimes applicable for those who are only dry empiric philosophers without spiritual realization. But those who are in the devotional line need not be always so advised. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. So, what a brilliant purport by Srila Prabhupada. So many important points. So we shall try to, only 15 minutes maybe, we'll try and discuss some salient points. So one word in particular we start off with is very important. Jugupsitam. Actually, this word jugupsitam is a very, very strong word. Very strong. It means detestable. Prabhupada has translated it in the purport in a more mild sense, verily condemned and is quite unreasonable. But the heavy meaning is detestable. So Sri Narada is telling Vyasadeva that what you have done is very detestable. And we shall discuss this a bit more. But we see in this word that this is the meaning of guru. Srila Prabhupada gave the translation of guru to mean. Who knows what Srila Prabhupada translated guru to mean? What's Prabhupada translated guru? Anyone knows?
Heavy?
Yes, heavy.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Rupa Mataji. Srila Prabhupada said, guru means heavy. Not heavy with a big belly. And if you put him on a scale, he'll be quite big. Like sometimes you see the Buddhas, they portray the Buddha, big belly. But the guru is heavy, not in weight, but heavy in knowledge. Heavy in knowledge. And when the guru speaks, he conveys that heaviness to bring us back down to reality. So this is what Sri Narada is doing here. Being heavy with knowledge, he is putting Srila Vyasadeva back on the right path. And we see this in the spiritual master. The spiritual master's business is to chastise, is not to placate or to pamper the devotee. I will read one personal experience that Srila Prabhupada himself speaks about. Prabhupada says, a spiritual master has the right to chastise. Father, spiritual master, they are advised to chastise. Putram cha shishyam cha tadayena tu lalayat. So father and teacher is advised by Chanakya Pandit that you should always chastise your son and disciple. Chastise, tadhayat. Tadhayat means simply chastise. Always find out mistake. Don't be angry, but it's the business of the teacher and the father simply to find your mistake, not to find out your good things. Tadayen natu lalayat. Lalayat means patting. Oh, my dear son, my dear boy, you are so nice. You have done. Sometimes it is done, but it is the business of the teacher and the father to chastise. Never recognize the disciple's business or son's business is very good. Then they will spoil. That is the injunction of Chanakya Pandit. Lalane bhava doshaha. If you simply pat, there will be so many faults. Lalane bhava dosha. Dosha means false. Tadane bhava guna. And if you chastise, they will be very much qualified. Tadane bhava guna tasmat. Therefore, putram cha shisham cha tadayen natat lalayat. Simply chastise, don't pat. This is the injunction, moral injunction. So far we are concerned, when our spiritual master used to chastise, we took it as blessing. This is Srila Prabhupada talking about how we should accept chastisement. That was very nice. And he would chastise like anything. Damn rascal, foolish, stupid, anything. All good words. Srila Prabhupada laughs. And now Srila Prabhupada describes a personal incident in which he was chastised by his spiritual master. This is very instructive, very, very instructive, because it is said, disciples, many disciples, they get chastised by the wife, they don't protest. They get chastised by some family, they don't protest. They get chastised by the boss, they don't protest. But they get chastised by the guru, they run away. Don't want to come near the guru again. They want to run away. And so many times I see this happen in ISKCON. The guru comes and the disciples, they want to stay far away. Why? They heard that when you go close, you can get the source. Rather stay far, keeping your head below the parapet at arm's distance, so your ego will not get damaged. So Prabhupada writes, one day it so happened, that was not my fault. My another old god brother Prabhupada was speaking. So Prabhupada is saying in one class, his spiritual master was speaking, he was there, and another god brother was there. And Prabhupada is saying, I was very much fond of hearing. That gentleman, he was a retired doctor, meaning his god brother. So he wanted to speak something he should not have done, but just like. So naturally I also, and Prabhupada saw it. Prabhupada meaning his spiritual master, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, used to also be called Prabhupada. And he became so angry. So he knew that my attention was drawn by him. He chastised him like anything. He was old man, actually almost like his age. So he was paying 60 rupees in those days per month. So he became so angry that, do you think that because you pay 60 rupees, you have purchased us? You can do anything and anything? He said like that. Very strong word he used. Do you think that I am speaking for others? You have learned everything. You are diverting your attention. So many ways he was very, very angry, you see. So this is nice to chastise. Therefore, as soon as Krishna was accepted as Guru, Shishasteham sadimam tvam prapanam. I become your disciple. Because in the beginning, there was friendly talks. So you see in the Vedas, often this happens. There's a crisis, and after the crisis, there is chastisement. So here we see Vyasadeva went into crisis. And his guru chastised. In the Bhagavad Gita, we see the same thing. Arjuna went into crisis. He was so bewildered. Cannot fight with my family. And first thing Krishna did, he chastised Arjuna. Said, while speaking learned words, you are lamenting for that which is not worthy of grief. And Krishna said, you are behaving like a non-Aryan. So first thing Krishna did was, he chastised Arjuna. And this chastisement is actually very good because it wakes us up. It wakes us up. And the true disciple, they see everything as the mercy of the Guru, as the mercy of Krishna, even chastisement. Even chastisement. So we can take great lesson from this, and we can study Srila Vyasadeva's reaction. to his guru, telling him, Jugupsitam, you did something detestable. Vyasadeva, he reacts and responds in such a beautiful way. And we can take great lessons from this exchange. Now, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada gives and provides some very nice evidence justifying Sri Narada's strong words against Vyasadeva. One particular evidence Prabhupada cites is the injunction or the concession in the Vedic literatures to eat meat. And as it said in this verse, the nature of the jiva, Prabhupada says, being here for many, many millions of years, we have become unchaste, very unchaste. Just like an unchaste woman or a wife doesn't listen to the instructions of the husband. She goes away here and there, loitering, looking for enjoyment in other places. We are like that. I like that unchaste woman. We become unchaste souls, not caring for Krishna's instruction. What is this? Why should I follow Krishna? And we've been looking, going here, there, everywhere, looking for enjoyment. We become very, very unchaste and become covered over by this mentality to enjoy. So Srila Vyasadeva, he has given this one concession, thinking, oh, if I don't regulate this meat eating, he'll become completely unregulated and they will simply abuse the animals. Exactly like what we see in Kali Yuga. So he put an injunction in the Vedic scriptures. Yes, you can eat meat. It can be a goat. It must be a goat. It can only be slaughtered on a certain constellation, on a full moon night. Before you kill the goat, you must whisper in its ears, in this life, I take you, your life, and I eat you. And in your next life, you can do the same with me. Now, one would think anyone being so restricted, they would think, oh, forget it. Once Srila Prabhupada, when he went to America, he was telling his disciples about sex life. He said, sex life is allowed, but only once a month when the woman is fertile. Then I agree. I said, only once a month? May as well just forget the whole thing. And Prabhupada said, very good, boy, very good, very good, very good. So Vyasadeva had this idea, once a month, full moon night, goat, you must get a goat, you must say this mantra. And then when you say this mantra, people will think, oh, just forget the whole thing. Just this meat eating is too burdensome. But he didn't reckon about the consciousness of the fallen jivas. Their propensity to eat meat supersedes the reaction that they're going to receive, supersedes the endeavor. And Vyasa and Narad Muni said, you should have predicted this. You should have predicted this. And the second example, Srila Prabhupada says, Mahabharata. Yes, you wrote Mahabharata. Lots of intrigue, politics, and so many things happening in Mahabharata. And in there you place the Bhagavad Gita. And your idea was, yes, when they get to the Bhagavad Gita, then they will get the spiritual knowledge. But as Prabhupada says in the purport, they like the bits with the politics. They like the bits with the war. They like the bits with the intrigue. But when it comes to the Bhagavad Gita, no, it's just too much philosophy, too much instruction, too much telling me what to do. I'll just go for the. So again, we see the Mahabharata, and we see this in our experience. People are very inclined to want to watch Mahabharata on TV, but when it comes to the Bhagavad Gita part, they'll put fast forward. Too much talking by Krishna. So this is the second thing that the evidence Srila Prabhupada is citing. The conditioned souls, they're not interested. So, and Srila Prabhupada says, therefore you see an expert physician is very uncompromising. If you're suffering from some disease, he will say, just cut out this food completely out of your diet. No more gluten. No more gluten. The inflammation you're getting is as a result of the gluten in your diet. You cut out gluten completely. Not you can eat gluten one day not. The expert physician knows it's all or nothing. Some leeway and the disease will persist. So in the same way, Sri Narad Muni is telling Vyasadeva, you made a big mistake. But someone may say, if we look at the world today, we see there's a triangle of people. At the bottom part of the triangle, which is very wide, there are those people who are only inclined to enjoy. Above them are those people who want to enjoy only, but they want to do it in a religious way. So the third layer is those who are religious, but they still have material desires for karma, jnana. And then the last, you get those people who are spiritual. And some people say we should elevate everyone gradually. Gradually, we should elevate. In time, also in our ISKCON, you see this. We have the purists who say we should only give absolutely only staunch Krishna consciousness. And then there's the other says that, we have to rope people in. So we'll do some bridge preaching. We won't give them the full Krishna consciousness, we'll just draw them in through yoga. So the purists criticize the devotees who want to bring people in gradually. And then those who want to bring people in gradually, they say the purists are being too single-minded. So this dynamic, this dilemma is there. But Bhagavatam is very, very specific. And there's one beautiful verse in the Bhagavatam I'd like to just share with you. Where Bhagavatam says, there's no need for doing it in an indirect way. So many of you would have heard this verse. Akama sarva kamo va moksha kama udharadi trivena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. A person who has broader intelligence, whether he be full of all material desire, without any material desire, or desiring liberation, must by all means worship the supreme whole, the personality of Godhead. So the Bhagavatam says, no worries. There are many people, many categories of people. Some people are full of desires, some have no desires, some have spiritual desires. No worries. Let all categories of people worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. And simply by worshiping and surrendering to Krishna, we will all become purified of our material desires. The other processes, the processes of karma, the process of jnana, the process of yoga, they are by nature, they are weak. They do not have the potencies to purify. But the process of bhakti yoga is so powerful. It can purify us, not only of the desires, but the seed of desires. The seed, the bija. So Narad Muni is telling Vyasadeva, this is what you should do. You've made a mistake. You've made a big mistake. Simply speak about Krishna. Simply speak about devotional service in the Srimad Bhagavatam. And then Vyasadeva takes us very seriously and beautifully compiles this beautiful Srimad Bhagavatam. So I'll stop here. Are there any questions or comments, dear devotees? Or reflections?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Bol.
Go on, Mataji.
Okay, Shailaja, you first, and then Chandrika Mataji after you.
Okay, okay, Prabhuji, thank you. So when you say the sins, the desires that are still in the form of the seeds,
Yes.
they can be eliminated by the process of bhakti, and I can understand that obviously when the devotee is engaged in the devotional service of the Lord and he doesn't desire anything, so automatically those seeds are like burnt or roasted, so they don't fructify. The person doesn't act on those desires. So just wondering, how does the sins which are in the growing stage and they're already grown, which is the probably the karmas that are already fructified, how are they cured by bhakti? I mean, just trying to understand analytically.
Srila Rupa Goswami in the Nectar of Devotion, he lists the 6 characteristics of pure devotional service. And the first category is pure devotional service removes all material distress. So in the same way, it fries the seed. It even eradicates that which are fructified, always fructifying. You know, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, you surrender to me and I will remove all of your sins. So the same process, Shaila, it burns, it roasts the seeds, and it eradicates that which is already fructifying and that which is also fructified. Yeah, that's the power of devotional service. The exact details of how that happens, you can read Nectar of Devotion. I think it's chapter number 2, the characteristics of pure devotional service. There's elaborate explanation given there by Srila Rupa Goswami, translated by Srila Prabhupada.
Sure, thank you for the reference, Prabhuji. We'll definitely read. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. Chandrika Mataji, you had a comment.
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Thank you for a nice class. You know, you mentioned Guru is heavy with knowledge and he can chastise, but obviously, like when we look up to someone, if it's a parent, somebody we're familiar with, yes, we take the chastisement. But if a Guru chastises, it can have both effects, isn't it? Positive and negative.
Yes, it depends on our consciousness, Chandrika Mataji. You know, sometimes some of us are quite fragile. You know, even if the Guru chastises, we find it hard to come out of that. But with knowledge and proper understanding, we can arise. I mean, I've had lots of personal experiences in my own life, you know, where I've been chastised and I felt quite shattered. But we mustn't remain on the mental platform and ruminate on that. You know, we should always see this is chastisement out of love. It is for my benefit. It's for my good. Yes, the Guru can pat me, can pamper me, but the fact that he's chosen to you know, really penetrate through my false ego. So we should see it as an expression of love, although it's difficult. It's difficult. And if we build a solid relationship with the Guru, you know, a loving relationship with the Guru, then we are less likely to want to go away or to feel that we've been badly treated. So it takes some training, it takes realization. What I used to do when I used to get translated, I used to pray very hard. I used to pray to Krishna to help me see this chastisement in the right light. And without fail, I would always, through the mercy of Krishna and Guru, would rise above it. So yeah, we have to not take the easy way out and run away. Grow. Through difficulty comes growth. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Hare Krishna. Sailesh Prabhu, you have your hand raised.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandava Pranam, Prabhupada. Thank you for a wonderful class, Prabhuji. So I have a question for you, Prabhuji. I come from a very traditional, old-fashioned home where my father used sort of chastisement, not chastisement is the word, but finding faults as a mechanism to improve. And we grew up in an environment where, you would seldom give praise. And once I asked him, so he said, the moment I give you praise, that'll be your shortcomings, you will not achieve anymore. And in this modern world, in where you say, both from a guru and parent perspective, there's political correctness has gone so mad, one can't even tell one's child off without being reported one way or the other. So how do we balance that act in reality? Because, Shastra says a father should always be firm and heavy, as should a guru. But from a grihastha perspective, when you are being heavy, it's quite often not accepted or appreciated in a grihastha ashram setting with this modern thinking and sort of Western philosophy of, you've got to mollycoddle everyone in order to encourage them. How do we balance that act?
If there's always an underlying feeling of, yes, my parent loves me, and we express that throughout their lives, I think, when this chastisement comes, then it is better received. I think what's also lacking in the modern world is, as parents, we do not give that much of time to our children. Maybe there's a lack. We are so busy with our own lives, and we're so busy running around working, trying to make money, that bond maybe is lacking. Like nowadays, even parents, they leave home in the morning, the fathers, they come back so late at night. Sometimes they work weekend. They're not involved. But in the Vedic system, and I'm sure, Shailesh Prabhu, you would, in your life, your father must have been present. He must have been present in your life. So we're able to better accept the chastisement. And also, Prabhupada is quoting this chastisement, but Prabhupada also says that, in the formative years, you don't hit the child. From the certain age, 10 to 15, you be very heavy. And after 15, you befriend with the child. So there's also those guidance from the Vedic scriptures about how we treat. But I think the bottom line is love. If they feel they are loved, no matter how heavy the chastisement is, they will know in their hearts, deep down, they would know the parent loves me and they're just doing it for my best. That's my thoughts. Maybe you could share, or others can share their thoughts.
Thank you, Prabhu. That was a wonderful response. Yes. Just to be clear, I actually, in my whole of my life, he never lifted a finger against me, and he never raised his voice. His chastisement was a silent one where you knew you were being chastised. It was kind of very, very apt, devotional, old-fashioned way of bringing one up, and it was really quite a powerful mechanism, because I knew he loved me.
Yeah.
But when he was firm with you, you knew you were in trouble.
Yeah, that's true.
But the problem today is the pollution of the minds of the young ones, regardless of how much love you may be pouring on them, is so intense because their benchmark is what everything else is going on in around their association and school circles and everything. So, you know, you're benchmarked against, you know, trash, as it were, if you forgive the expression.
True.
And when you're trying to abide by you know, Vedic philosophy in your household, sometimes it may or may not work. I mean, fortunately, it has worked for me in my household, but I'm asking a general question because I see this problem
Sure.
generally. So I'm asking kind of from a wider perspective.
Sure. Sure. Yes.
So it is a difficult balance to try and get when you're up against not just your home environment, but you're up against all the polluting.
Society, yeah, the societal pressures
Yeah.
are so much today. That's true. But what can we do? We just have to try, keep going. Thank you. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Anyone else got any reflections or any questions or any corrections or any additions? No? Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, please
Hi.
accept my humble obeisances. I
Thank
know it's late, but I just wanted to add one thing that when I was doing teacher training, we were told, you know, you're not supposed to, you know, chastise any child because obviously they have their, you know, they have, one thing is that they are very young, and the second thing is that, you know, they are going through, you know, what they are going through. So it's always the other way. It's like encouragement and good words, kind words, and that's how you have to bring up the children at school and at home. So it's very different what Chanakya Pandit is saying, that, you know, you have to chastise. So I don't know if that works, because nowadays it's you have to be good to the children. Like when we were children, we were chastised, but you know, the how as a child we felt, we didn't feel good at all. So sometimes the chastisement was there, but if we were told in a nice way, we would have followed it more, I think. So in a way, I feel like Chanakya Pandit's one is a very strict version, and going through a more warmer version will be nicer for children.
Yeah, sometimes the guru knows too. You know, I've personally seen, you know, he's so soft with some people and he's hard with others. Yes, an expert doctor knows the patient. The guru also knows. But yeah, the point I take is, yeah, you know, sometimes different ways of chastising works differently in different people. Correct. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
So Emma Mataji has written, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, does this pastime also instruct us that when one is bewildered, one only seeks guidance from their guru, not anyone else, otherwise there's a risk of further illusion? We could say that, but yeah, there's different types of guru. There's Diksha Guru, there's Siksha Guru. And yeah, as long as one surrenders to a person one has deep faith in, one has a relationship with, there is no risk of illusion. It all depends who we're taking shelter of. So Guru is, Prabhupada says, Guru is a principle, not an individual. Prabhupada used to say that, and he said that a few times. So yeah, Guru is someone who is heavy with knowledge, is Krishna conscious, and we have some relationship with that person. There's another comment. Thank you. Emma Mataji, is that a satisfactory response, or would you like to ask anything else?
Yes, Prabhuji, no, that's very useful. Thank you. I was just thinking that if we seek guidance from outside of our parampara and Shiksha and Diksha Guru, then we could be very, you know, further bewildered. That's what I was meaning, but yes.
Yes, you're quite right. Even Srila Prabhupada was, even in his own god brothers in the Gaudiya Math, he said, they say one word different from me and you'll become confused. Yeah, that's true. Indira Mataji has written, I feel in today's world it's very difficult to bring the child. Whatever you do, it's not good enough for a child because they always say You don't know anything. Yes, that's true. That's true. I know. Anything you tell them, I know. They think they know anything, everything, but I just say, you know nothing. You know nothing. Well, it's a different generation, Mataji, very different generation. And we have to adapt a bit to the new generation. Hare Krishna. All right, we'll stop here, I think, unless anyone really got anything they want to add. Okay, thank you very much for your dedicated service of coming. I'm always amazed how so dedicated you are. Come every day without fail. All glories to your service. Panchakalpa Tirubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha
Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo
Anantakuri Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.
Ki Jai.
Thank you,
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Thank you,
Wonderful
Prabhuji.
class. Thank
Prabhuji.
you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Prabhuji.
Thank
Full
you.
class. Thank you,
Thank you,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Thank you.
So wonderful.
Thank you,
Hare Krishna,
Prabhu.
Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna. Hare Krishna.